Good morning. My name is MC Hit, but you might as well call me MC Roberts. MC Hobberts? Rit? Mick Roberts? The last name is a working title. What's not a working title is that Lucy Roberts is my best friend. Okay, well maybe it is because at this point we're basically sisters. Earlier this year, I moved into the Roberts family spare bedroom, so Lucy and I live approximately 12 feet apart. Despite this, we somehow never see each other. Lucy stays up late doing homework and studying. I have a strict bedtime of 10:30. At school, Lucy takes classes like AP Bio, hers, and AP Physics. That sounds like my worst nightmare. Occasionally, though, the stars align and we get to hang out. We'll watch movies, except she falls asleep 15 minutes in. We'll climb together, except she's a way better climber than I am. Lucy and I have gone on a number of adventures over the years. We've traveled the country, climbing in Arizona, Colorado, North Carolina, and more. We've gone hang gliding, gotten lost in the woods, spent dozens of nights camping, and that's only to name a few. But if I had to be honest, we spend most of our hangout time sitting in silence. Not because we're tired of each other, but because we simply enjoy being in the presence of the other. There is no one else I would rather call my, basically, sister. So now, give it up for my favorite person in the world, Lucy Chandler Roberts.
My fist closed around empty air. Before I could react, the rope I had just been holding flew up into the air, leaving my father, who was on the other end of the rope, without anything to hold him up. I watched helplessly as he plummeted 20 feet to the hard ground, landing on his back with a grunt. My father lay limp on the ground just feet from me. Every muscle in my body was tense. My heart was about to bound out of my chest. I felt like the world was closing in around me. I couldn't move a muscle. All I could think was my fault, my fault, my fault. I watched as people around us rushed to help him, while I stood paralyzed, doing nothing. They inspected him for injuries, yet still, I did nothing. They helped him stand up, yet still, I did nothing. A week later, we learned my father had broken several vertebrae that day. He had broken his back due to my failure, and the more I thought about it, the more frustrated I became. I had been so overwhelmed with my own anxieties and fears that I had done nothing to help. This panic response was nothing new. When I began rock climbing at 10 years old, I often found myself similarly overwhelmed with anxiety and frustration in response to failure. Falling regularly is an inevitable part of climbing, and I couldn't accept that. I took out my frustration by attempting the same climbing route again and again. With each subsequent attempt, my performance worsened, making me increasingly upset, leading to an endless cycle of self-sabotage. Coaches and friends gave me advice on how to stop this cycle, but the only advice that stuck came from my dad. He told me, "You are not your feelings or your thoughts, but the awareness that observes them." Over time, my response to failure began to shift from impatience, anger, and distress to patience, calm, and resolve. This new perspective enabled me to detach from my feelings and realize that I am much more than my current emotions and situation. Failure does not determine my worth. It is simply a reflection of the current moment. It does not detract from the effort I have put in to becoming who I am today, but shows me the areas I need to focus on. It is proof that I am giving my full effort and still believe that I can do better. This summer, I conducted independent research at the University of Memphis. I studied the antimicrobial properties of plants, and while my professor helped with designing the basic procedure, the rest of the project was entirely up to me. For the first 5 weeks, my research yielded no positive results. I felt like I'd failed yet again. But this time, I did not get overwhelmed by my anxiety and frustration. Instead, I took a step back, separated myself from those feelings, and focused on how I could improve my methods. I increased the rate at which I tested plants and diversified the types of plants I tested. Ultimately, my study identified 27 species of plants with previously unknown antimicrobial properties. Now, before I begin a climb or any challenging activity, I close my eyes and take a deep breath. I remind myself that my emotions do not define me. I am more than any one moment. I have spent my life working to be the best person, student, and climber that I can be, and one failure will never change that. Thank you.